Instrumental music of the classical period. The sonata. Sonata is a large instrumental composition that is made up of several movements. The first movement of a sonata is written in a form called sonata form, and it is also called a sonata allegro. This form is worked out in a three-part structure that consists of exposition, development, and recapitulation. Exposition. The main musical ideas of the piece are exposed. There are usually two contrasting themes. The first theme is always on tonic key. Modulation also takes place for the subordinate from the tonic key to the dominant key. It concludes in a theme called codetta. A codetta is a brief conclusion, dominant tonic cadence at the end of the exposition may be repeated several times for the emphasis. Development. In this section, the music modulates the foreign keys, new themes appear, and melody often much sounds like an improvisation. It is exciting and vivid, taking the listeners on a whirlwind oral journey that is loosely based on themes established on the exposition. This is where the main theme develops in many different ways. The theme may be treated in different keys, registers, textures, and timbres. The recapitulation. Recapitulation brings melody home to the tonic key. In this section, the original themes from exposition are repeated, although this time both themes are in the tonic key. The second movement of sonata is characterized by having a slow tempo presented in subdominant or dominant key and having a more melodic quality than the other movement sections. Ternary, rounded binary, and theme and variation are the musical forms used in these particular movements. The third movement of sonata is commonly in a form called minuet and trio, or simply minuet. The minuet and trio is usually found as the third movement of a four-movement in classical era sonata, and is the only dance in classical era sonata. This form is in tonic key and triple meter, played in moderately fast tempo, a ternary form where the three sections are the minuet, trio, and minuet. The fourth movement is called finale, which may use either sonata form, rondo structure, or a combination of the two. This is presented in home key with a lively tempo and usually less intensive than the first movement. A sonata can also have three movements only. All forms mentioned in four movements of sonata can also be used in other instrumental music of the classical period, such as symphony and string quartet. Symphony. Symphony is the most famous of all musical forms. It means an orchestral composition in four sections with distinct pauses between these sections. The four sections are called movements. First movement, fast and vigorous, usually in double meter. Second movement, slow tempo, can be in sonata, rondo, and theme and variation structure. Third movement, dance-like movement, can be in minuet and scherzo form. Fourth movement, brilliant, lively, and fast movement, often either in sonata form or in sonata rondo form. The concerto. Concerto is a musical composition for instrument in which the solo instrument is set off against an orchestral ensemble. The soloist and ensemble are related to each other by alternation, competition, and combination. In this sense, the concerto, like an symphony and string quartet, may be seen as a special case of the musical genre embraced by the term called sonata. The piano is frequently used as solo instrument. Other solo instruments like violin, cello, horn, clarinet, trumpet, and bassoon can also be employed. It is composed of 3 movements: the fast, slow, fast structure. First movement in a fast tempo and in sonata form, but there are 2 separate expositions called double exposition. In the first exposition, the main theme is introduced by the orchestra alone in the home key. Toward the end of repeculation, a candesa signaled by fermata or prolongation is performed by the soloist. A candesa is a section in this instrumental music where the soloist displays his or her virtuosity. Second movement in a slow tempo and more lyrical. Third movement, the concerto finale, and is usually rondo form with a lively tempo. Chamber music. Chamber music is a form of classical music that is composed for a small group of instruments, traditionally a small group that could fit in palace chamber. It consists of 2 to 9 players and only 1 instrument to a 1 part. The most important chamber music ensemble is a string quartet. Its music is written for 2 violins, 1 viola, and 1 cello. A string quartet as a composition is usually composed of 4 movements: fast, slow, minuet, and scherzo. Divertimento is the other instrumental form in this genre. It is an composition that is made up of several movements, light and diverting character, and similar to serenade.